Biracials with black moms. A lesson in history. The first biracial is Lawrence Dennis, the creator of the fascist movement. Lawrence Dennis was a leading light in the American fascist movement of the 1930s. He was a fan of Hitler and a self-avowed anti-Semite. Now a new book reveals that he was actually black, although even his wife didn't know. Lawrence Dennis was, arguably, the brains behind American fascism. He attended the Nuremberg rallies, had a personal audience with Mussolini, and met Nazi leaders. Throughout the 1930s, he provided the intellectual ballast for America's burgeoning pro-fascist movement. But though his work was well known and well appreciated by the intelligentsia and political elites on both sides of the Atlantic, there was one crucial fact about him that has never emerged until now: he was black. Dennis was born in Atlanta, Georgia in 1893, just as racial segregation had fully reasserted its authority on the South in the wake of the Civil War. His mother was African American, as is clear from pictures. His father's race is not known. As a boy, he was a famous child preacher, spreading the gospel first among black American congregations and then later abroad, even in Britain. But at some point in his adolescence, he did something quite dramatic. He cut all ties with his family so that he could attend the prestigious school of Exeter, and then Harvard, as a white man. Now the book was written by Gerald Horne, an actual black man if you didn't know, so it's clear that Lawrence Dennis was mixed and didn't look black, but you know how some black people are with biracials. They try to make them black in order to feel better about their own looks. Anyway, this goes against the narrative that black moms create the best biracials. They seem to create the most violent ones who hate being black. If you notice, he tried to erase his own mother from his life because he didn't want people to know he was half black. That's the typical experience of a biracial with a black mom. Fast forward to another biracial with a black mom. Mr. A.G., the mixed-race Finnish neo-Nazi behind the UK's race riots. Unusually for a racist neo-Nazi, Räsänen is mixed race. In a leaked voice note, Räsänen can be heard saying, "My father is of Finnish/a little bit of Swedish and probably German descent, and my mother is of African Negro descent." Räsänen's pseudonym, Mr.AG, is an abbreviation of Aryanized Gobelbu, an earlier username used by Räsänen. The Nazis promoted the idea of a superior Aryan race, and Goebbels was a leading Nazi.
At 6, the BBC tracks down the neo-Nazi who played a key role on the social media account that helped spark a summer of violence in parts of the UK.
You posted an arson manual. Do you accept any responsibility for what you did?
He is 20 years old and lives in Finland. We explain how this man helped trigger widespread violence from abroad. Has tracked down the neo-Nazi who played a crucial role in social media posts that helped spark the summer of riots. Violent disorder swept parts of the UK following the killing of 3 children in Southport in late July. Social media platforms faced criticism for inflaming tensions and mobilising rioters by hosting extremist rhetoric and sharing locations to be targeted. One such platform, Telegram, shut down some of the worst channels, including one called Southport Wake Up, that had gathered around 14,000 members. Well, our UK editor, Ed Thomas, has found the man who played a key role on that account, and he travelled to Finland to confront him.
Inside messaging app Telegram's extremist accounts. For the first time, we confront the neo-Nazi who created these posts. We reveal his true identity and his key role as an organiser of this summer's riots. Our journey to understand how a senseless killing of children in Southport could spiral into chaos has led us here to the Finnish suburbs.
So this is who we're trying to track down. His Telegram account is known as Mr. AG. But we know his real name is Charles Emmanuel Mikko Räsänen. He's 20 and he lives on the outskirts of Helsinki. And his Telegram account was instrumental in provoking the riots across the UK.
We traced him here to this apartment block.
This is it. Second floor. Räsänen.
It was from here, after the Southport killings, he became an administrator, a leader of this Telegram group called Southport Wake Up. It had nearly 14,000 members and was crucial to planning unrest across the UK. The first protest in Southport was organised here. This poster was made. Followers joined together to discuss other locations, and later a list of dozens of refugee centres to target was shared in the group. Alongside this, Mr. AG posted this manual titled Arson. He writes, "Something fun for you to read, take care." We're not fully showing the manual, but it was originally made by Russian fascists and details how to avoid the police and target Muslims and Jews. By now, riots had broken out across the UK for days, a country in crisis, gripped by violence.
Fight, Chloe! Let's have it!
After 2 days of waiting, Mr. AG
Charles Emmanuel. Miko.
finally appeared.
Miko. BBC News.
I've said that in the email I do not legally consent to any interviews, and if this continues, I will get a restraining order.
What do you want to say to people in
I will get a
Southport?
restraining order.
Do you regret your posts?
I will get a restraining order if you continue.
Do you have any regret?
I will call the police now.
What do you want to say to people who are injured in
will
these
call the
riots?
Mr. AG pinned the arson manual to the top of the Southport Wake Up group for thousands of members to read. And look at the posts below. One says, "I'm ready for these migrant boys." Another says, "You invaders are a stupid bunch underestimating whites."
You posted an arson manual.
Sir, I'm calling the
posted
police.
an
Please
arson
leave me
manual.
alone. I'm calling the police.
Are you
I
a
am calling the
neo-Nazi?
police.
Are you a neo-Nazi?
Ja, hallo, cool, okay?
And here are Mr. AG's personal Telegram accounts. He celebrates Hitler. He promotes the neo-Nazi Nordic resistance movement, a group prescribed as terrorists in the USA. During the riots, he sent this advice to people going out on the streets: remember your mask, keep your hoodie up. He also posted dozens of voice notes.
National Socialism. It's about survival.
Others, with not playing in full, were extremely offensive and anti-Semitic.
I wish that the genocide of
Miko, do you want to say anything to people in Britain? You're an administrator of the Southport Wake Up page on Telegram. You posted an arson manual. Do you accept any responsibility for what you did? Have you got anything to say to people in Britain? Police officers were injured. As families were grieving the deaths of their children, you were posting arson manuals. You have posted anti-Semitic reports. You have celebrated Adolf Hitler's birthday. What do you want to say to people in Britain?
Nothing to say from Mr. AG. We left him on the phone, calling for the police, accusing us of harassment.
So, there appears to be no regrets, no apology from one of the key agitators of the UK riots, now here in Finland, seemingly out of reach of the British authorities.
Finnish police wouldn't comment, but said it was aware of the matter. The UK government told us it wouldn't let the internet serve as a haven for those seeking division in our communities. But Mr. Razanen is free, and his Telegram social media accounts are still open for him to use.
Look how hard they go to show loyalty to their white side. What were their black moms teaching them? Perhaps black women's desires to be seen the same as a white woman rubbed off on them. Clearly, black women were teaching them that white is right and white is the best, so much so they abandoned their moms. Now you see why this is another reason people don't want divestors and swirlers living in their neighborhoods? A lot of black women are not good parents, which is why white men don't marry them, because if they do, they get kicked out of the white community. Imagine living next to one of these biracials. We all know how hateful swirlers and divestors are, yet, black people, simps, are the only ones willing to take them in. Biracials with black moms,